Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Afro Nurse International. Thank you for joining me once more. Many of you have been reaching out to me and asking questions and asking for more information. I've been very busy replying to a lot of questions, and so if I haven't gotten to you yet, it's just because I'm busy and also work. I do have a job, so and it takes a lot of my time, and that's the reason why I want you to come here so that you can take some of these shifts off of me, please. Okay. So today I'll be talking about three things. I'm gonna be one of the biggest questions or the frequent question that I've been receiving is people want to decide if they should move to Alberta or Nova Scotia. So you know that both provinces have opened up their licensing procedure, made it easier for people to come in, but it's a little different because Nova Scotia saying that okay, you can write the NCLEX after you start working, and so you come in with a provisional license, and those provisional license they have an expiry date, so you need to write your NCLEX before it expires. Okay, and Alberta, on the other hand, saying that okay, if you've written your NCLEX, then don't bother about NNAS, just come directly to us and we can process your application. So these are very, very enticing opportunities. And in making the decision whether to go to Alberta or Nova Scotia depends on two things. One, if you have your NCLEX, and two, um, you have to also think about who are you coming with? Like, where do you want to live? Do you want to live in Alberta or do you want to live in Nova Scotia? So today I'm going to be giving you some differences between these two provinces. And then we're going to talk about, other things, other questions that I've received. I'm going to be providing information. And then finally, I'm have some good news about the NCLEX that I'm going to be sharing at the end of this video. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So Alberta or Nova Scotia, which one? So Alberta is on the west coast of Canada, just right beside British Columbia where I live. I've spent a lot of time there. I know a lot of people there, and there are lots of Nigerians in Edmonton. Like, you can find African restaurants in Alberta. Lots of Nigerian people live there. They love it. And Nova Scotia, on the other hand, I went to Nova Scotia a few years ago, and I didn't see a lot of black people there. Now, don't get me wrong, there are black people in Nova Scotia. The ones that I met were actually from there. Now, when I mean from there, they've lived there a long time, even longer than most of the white people you see in Canada. So they moved, or their forefathers moved from the States during the slave trade. So when the slave trade was going on, Canada offered a refuge for the escaped slaves. You've heard about the Underground Railroad. So most of those slaves that escaped, some of them came to Nova Scotia. So you will find some black people there that um, that are like indigenous, not really indigenous, but they've been there a long, long time. Okay, and so that's it. And then secondly, Nova Scotia has it's close to the ocean, but I don't know if you like the ocean, but it's very cold, so you're not gonna swim. It's not like the bar beach you have in Lagos that you can go jump right in and swim. No, this one is freaking cold. So it's so windy, very windy, and the winters are cold because it's wet. It's like a wet cold and lots of snow and that. But Alberta, on the other hand, Alberta is cold as well, but it's also very sunny. It's the sunniest place in Canada. And for somebody coming from Nigeria, where we're used to sunlight, you would love Alberta because even the middle of winter, when it's like minus 40, it's very, very sunny. So, and sometimes Alberta get this thing called Chinook. So Chinook is like weird stuff that happens in the winter where it gets really, really warm. So one day is like very cold and freezing, and then the next day is like warm because the Chinook is like a warm air that comes, that sweeps through the city, especially in Calgary. So if you live in Calgary, you might experience some warm winter, but the winter is long and that. But that doesn't matter because you're just gonna be working, right? And hopefully enjoy some sunshine that Alberta has. So in terms of so other thing you have to consider too is jobs, right? So if you're coming with a partner, your partner might need to work because you have a nursing job, which is fantastic. But what if they can't find a job, depending on what they do? So Nova Scotia, basically, I know there's the fishing industry, is very lucrative there. So there are a lot of lobster fishermen. So if your spouse is into fishing, you like to go on the boat and catch fish, then Nova Scotia might be great for you. And also like office jobs. There's a lot of nice office jobs in Halifax, but it's just there. However, Alberta is very blue collar. Blue collar means people that don't work in the office. So people that are in trade, say like tradespeople, mechanic, scaffolders, carpenters, business people. Yeah, Alberta is the place to be. There's a lot of jobs, and Alberta has a very huge oil and gas industry. So if your husband is interested in working, or your spouse is interested in working in the oil and gas industry, or maybe they already work in that industry in Nigeria, then Alberta might be a great place because they can get a job. And if your husband or partner is into business, they might find it a lot easier to start up in Alberta. So Alberta has a lot of opportunities, and but sometimes people have complained, especially in Calgary, that there are no jobs. But those are like minimum wage jobs. If you have the experience, or you want to start a business, it's a great place to start a business. Okay. And as for minimum wage, so the minimum wage in Alberta is higher than that in Nova Scotia, but by just a smidge, not too much. But the cost of living is what also you have to consider, because if you're making all that money and you're spending it all, so it's that's a very good factor to consider. So Alberta has lower tax rates, and so if you're making money, you're able to keep more of it, of that money, because of the lower taxes. So that's why a lot of people like going there. What else can I tell you about these two provinces? So yeah, and Alberta is also known as the Texas of Canada because it's very, very kind of western, like countryside. A lot of farmers, a lot of people called I don't want to say that on here, but it's just people that live on the farm, people that have farms, farmlands, cows, you name it. So Alberta is very big on farming. So if you want to buy a farm, you want to farm, you want to grow grains, cows, then Alberta might be a great place for you. And I love Alberta because of that. And then finally, and also very important, Alberta is more conservative in the sense that they still maintain the old traditional values. So you might still find some Christians not in the big cities. There might be some in the big city, mostly Nigerians maybe. But in the countryside, they still have their deep religious values. And so if you're a religious person, and which everybody in Nigeria is, right? Even though we do bad stuff, but um, you might fare better in Alberta. You might find more people, with the same value in Alberta. Okay, and that's why it's called like Texas, because it's very like country, horses, cowboy, and just beautiful. Okay, so that's just all I have to tell you for when you decide. But right now it doesn't matter. Just get your license, and whether you get it in Nova Scotia or Alberta, it doesn't really matter at this point. But just come, and you can always move province if you don't like it. And then I'm going to talk about the NCLEX. So the good news I have about the NCLEX today is that I've spoken to one of our ex-NCLEX specialists, Joan Palmery, and she has agreed to be a guest speaker for a live session that we are putting together. So we want to do this after you've applied, okay? Probably sometime in May. I will be sending out the information to everybody who has left me their email address, and I'll let you know. So this is going to be a live session, and Joan Palmery is going to be there. She's going to talk to you about the NCLEX. She's a strategist. She teaches the NCLEX strategy, because it's not just enough to just study for the NCLEX. Because I did that. I studied for the NCLEX, but without her strategies, I probably wouldn't have passed on my first try. Because the NCLEX is very, very particular. It's not really asking about, you know, what you nursing knowledge, because you know that already. It's asking about specific things. So you may have questions that are like 4 options that are all correct. How do you choose the right one? So John is gonna be telling you how to make those decisions. And after that event, then we're gonna focus more on NCLEX, because then I know by then you've already applied, and then you're gonna start preparing for your NCLEX, because you don't want to wait till you get your provisional license and then worry about your NCLEX. It's better to start now. And I always recommend, if you're gonna write the NCLEX, take 3 months to study. 3 months, 12 weeks. I know it might seem like a long time, but you would thank me. It's better for you to take the time, study well, learn the strategies, and write your NCLEX and pass, rather than you rushing and then writing it and then failing. Because there's nothing more discouraging, nothing more deflating like failing your NCLEX. And some people have failed 3 times. That is so discouraging. It's just like failing the nursing council over and over and over again. You get discouraged, and it's never the same again. So it's better for you to take the time, prepare really well, and write it and pass. So once, I haven't been talking or doing much about the NCLEX right now, because I just want you guys to apply for your license first, and then we can focus on your NCLEX, because I'm gonna be running a boot camp. So but this also is gonna happen. I'm gonna choose, people are gonna sign up for that, because once we start, it's better for you to start early so that you can follow us on the journey rather than joining later. Because my goal for you is for you to write the NCLEX and pass first time, and we're gonna be doing it together for 12 weeks. And some of you have already started preparing for the NCLEX, so this is different. If you already started studying, we're gonna go through that differently, because for you don't have to wait for 12 weeks. And Joan is gonna be there to support your strategy with the strategies, so you can write sooner. But if you have never written the NCLEX before, and you've never studied for the NCLEX before, and it's been a little bit longer since you left nursing school, then you might want to use the 12 weeks that I'm recommending. And I'm gonna be running this boot camp weekly. We're gonna be going over questions. We're just gonna be doing a lot of things, and I know you want to be part of that. So if you can send me an email to be added to the list. Some people have already done that, and I've added you to the list. And once the applications have been sent in for Nova Scotia or Alberta, whoever you're signing to, then we can focus more on on the NCLEX. Okay, anyway, I think that's all I have for you today. If I'm missing out anything, and oh yeah, one more information. Some people have asked, what about jobs? What about if I get my license, who's gonna hire me? Don't worry about that. Whether you're gonna come in through the provincial nomination program or the express entry, it doesn't matter. Having your license is like half of the battle. So let's do that first. And you're gonna have job offers flowing. And you can go through the PNP or you can go through the express entry. There's so many options for you. But right now, let's get your license first and let's pass your NCLEX. Okay? So if there's anything else you want to see me talk about or you want to hear me talk about, please let me know, okay? I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm sure you can tell by now. Well, but the purpose of these videos are just to educate you and give you information so that you can have the right information and you don't waste your time, right? So if there's anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to see more, please let me know, okay? You can write it in the comments or you can send me an email, okay? All right. Well, hope you enjoy the rest of your day and thank you so much for watching, okay?